Today on the show, it's If I Woulda Done It v. The Suicide Squad. All this and more on What the Hell Did We Just Watch? Welcome to another episode of What the Hell Did We Just Watch? I'm your host, Lumotional Lou, and this is the show that helps spread movie awareness. How's everyone doing today? I hope you had a good week. Now, let's just get right down to it. The segment, If I Woulda Done It, returns, and this week, it's The Suicide Squad.
I want to assemble a task force of the most dangerous people on the planet. They're bad guys, worst of the worst.
What was that? I should kill everyone and escape? Sorry. The voices.
Let's play. Don't forget, we're the bad guys.
My interpretation of the film is I actually did like it. I'm one of the few or a lot of people, because people say that they like it. Some people say that they didn't like it, but at the end of the day, it made $752 million worldwide. So where is the hatred at? You know, and the same thing goes with Batman v Superman. People got to say what they got to say, and I understand that, and I get it. But $852 million worth of people can't be wrong. At least I don't think they can. Now, just getting into the If I Woulda Done It segment, let me tell you actually what I believe what works. I love the beginning. I love the introduction of the people. I love the little music video vignettes that everybody gets. It may run a little long for some, like if it's like 25% of the film, but I think the movie's long enough to get them. It's stylized. I mean, it's villains, so I think that they should be looked at in a different light. And I think that's one of the things that people might get confused with. The people that watched this film that didn't really have any kind of like knowledge of these characters on why there is a Suicide Squad in the comic books and all that is because, it's not mainstream. It's kind of mainstream, but it's not mainstream. It's not mainstream to say that there are a group of villains and they're forced to have to do good. But the thing is that this is where the fine line is. Here are bad guys. They're forced to be good. But people, I think, have this mental kind of like note in their mind that they're good guys in some kind of way. And the thing is that they're not. They really, really are not. And that's where I think a lot of people get confused with it, But I believe that the beginning, in terms of the stylized thing, because they see themselves as being very cool, and very egotistical. It works. I think that the director, David Ayer, found something, a niche that works, and he saw what I believe was his intentions, and that's why it's stylized. You're not going to see that kind of a way with Batman. You're not going to see that with Superman or any other kind of hero, because they're not egotistical. I mean, some maybe are, but they're not cool like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to have such a stylized introduction like that. The intros, like I said, are great. I think Batman's cameo was great. That kind of stuff when it comes to shared universes, it's always a plus when you can do that. And, I like it even when Marvel does it. So I think the characters were all great. Who they chose to be a part of the squad was great. I have no problems, believe it or not, with the Joker. Let me get a little bit into that, what I mean by that. There are so many, if you read the comic books, there are so many different versions and ways and all these kinds of like variations of Joker, and the people that watch the movies, and this is where it's a thin line, is that when people watch the movies, they think that's the Joker. And believe it or not, in some ways and shapes or form, it's the least correct Joker in a comic book form ever. And I believe that Jared Leto, though he's not a fan favorite, I believe that on some levels he is the closest thing to an accurate Joker that's in a comic book. I believe so. I believe that, So there goes my take on that. I knew, if you have any objections or if you want to tell me something, just comment below. Now, I'll be sure if it's you guys are not cursing people out or me out or whatever, make a conscious conversation, argumentative conversation, and we'll have one because I have no problems with that. I love the fact that he has henchmen. I love the way that they are, where they all wear kind of like these masks, like the big goat. This guy wore a Batman mask. I love it. I love that kind of like world that they've created for Joker and his henchmen. I'm a big sucker for main bad guys and henchmen. But like the way that 66 Batman did it, I love my henchmen to have like this kind of like, clashes with the villain that their boss is. I gotta like that stuff. If you are the brains, you gotta have the muscle, and that's what Joker is, brains, and he has muscle. He has lots of muscle. I love the Joker's broken teeth thing. I love it. I think that it's a great backstory. It feels fresh. It feels new, and it makes you question, why did he break his teeth? And I go to the theory of after Robin, the Robin thing. He killed Robin. Him and Harley Quinn killed Robin, and so it makes total sense for Batman to go nuts and break his teeth and not kill him and send him to jail. So that's what I believe that is the backstory for it. But the fact that there's a backstory is good. It's just a question of when will we see this, and I really hope that we see this in the Batman. Maybe they do some flashback scenes and stuff like that. I hope that they do stuff like that. So I'm excited for that. I love Amanda Waller. She is, I think, an essential character to the Suicide Squad, and I think they picked the right person, and I also think they wrote the right character for this film in terms of how Amanda Waller is. I think it's spot on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's very spot on. I also love the Flash cameo. People are like always like, oh, the cameos, I've never seen them. What's wrong with some cameos, man? What's wrong with just seeing these characters for like a second and just get a little mini excitement? We're so, impatient, and all we want is everything now. But I think the Flash cameo was great. I think him capturing Captain Boomerang is better than him being captured by anyone else, because that is a main villain in the Flash universe. So it makes total sense. I think it was great. The intro is very important. Now, to wrap up this little introduction, again, the intro of this film, I feel is very important to introduce them the way that they were being introduced, because for better or for worse, for whoever, in terms of the viewing pleasure of the person, they're here to stay. They're building it up because they're here to stay. People still have this mentality of one movie. That's it. Even if they have these cameos and all that, it's the problem that I'm having with people when they're talking about Logan. How people are saying that, oh, it's a standalone. Logan is a standalone. How the fuck is Logan a standalone? But that's another time for me to explain. So, but think about it like that. How the fuck do you think Logan is a fucking standalone when we know that it's a shared universe? We know this. So the fact that people need to kind of gear their minds into a shared universe, people have this problem also with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People think that, not they're saying that they're standalones, but people are watching movies at random. They don't know what's going on, and then they're asking questions. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what's this? What's that? Like, who's this guy? When did he come in? And it's like, dude, it's a shared universe. Watch all the movies, and in order, preferably, because it's fucking awesome. So stop it with this like standalone mentality. These films are not standalone. Suicide Squad is the third film, technically, in the DC universe. Okay, so if we're in agreement with this, let's move on. They are here to stay. So I love that they call them Task Force X, because that is the name of the things. You know what I mean? I love the scenes where Flag is, after he meets everyone and he talks to Amanda Waller about how he doesn't like that, he doesn't like what they're doing. And what I love is that there's a little bit of a dynamic that, in a way, Rick Flag is a little bit of a prisoner as well, because he says that he wanted out and that he knew people that can help him to get out. But then Amanda Waller threatened his relationship with June Moon, who is Enchantress. He threatened his relationship, and that she was going to end up being kind of like a prisoner, just like everybody else, while they're doing the mission. She will always be like in some kind of hole, basically, is what Amanda Waller was saying. And that was like, in a way, she's holding Flag hostage as well. I think that's great. Like, people just, they get so mad and they're not paying attention to what's going on. And look at that, you know. But without further ado, this is the How I Woulda Done It segment for Suicide Squad. You guys ready? Here we go. All right. If I would have done it, Suicide Squad. Basically, one of the things that I would change is everything is good, but I was one of the people, and even though I like Suicide Squad, I was still one of those people that thought that it would have been a better idea that Joker was the man that they had to get. He was going to be the main villain. Okay, that is essential. Why? Because it would have been really cool. Yeah, great. I know Joker is the villain in like every Batman movie, but technically, Joker is a villain in a Suicide Squad movie. Has nothing to do with Batman, even with the fact that Batman's in the movie. But Suicide Squad, them having to go to Joker as their villain, as the person that they got to apprehend, is actually pure genius. Because the group versus the Joker and his henchman army. Like, it would have been a huge dynamic, and I think that Jared Leto deserved that kind of a super villainy kind of role. You know, especially it would have been very different because, like I said, it's always been Joker versus Batman, but now it was going to be Joker versus the Suicide Squad. And I think that would have been really fucking cool. Now, I know recently David Ayer came out, and that's why I stopped, and I didn't want to release this segment yet because I had this segment ready to go like 2 months ago, but I didn't want to talk about it because David Ayer came out and said, oh, I see the error of my ways, and I wish that I made this movie, and it was the Suicide Squad versus Joker. And it's like, why are you realizing it now? Or like people like telling you that, you know, that they made the wrong movie. I mean, I know that it's just kind of silly, but, you know, just own for your thing. You know what I mean? You made an exceptional film, and the powers that be thought that it was better the way that you had it. If you had it differently, just water under the bridge. The movie's done, and you should be happy because it was very successful anyway. So there you go, David Ayer. But back to it. I would believe that the best way to have made this film was, yes, David Ayer, you're right, and the people out there are right. Joker should have been their villain, and they should have been after him. That would have been a much cooler movie. And I have a few kind of like reasons why I would have. I wrote down stuff. That's why I would have done it. I'm the script doctor. That's me. Okay, so here we go. So first off, here's my Suicide Squad. Deadshot, Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Enchantress, Rick Flag, and Katana. And Slipknot. And sadly, yes, for the same purpose. Sadly. Sorry, Slipknot, and for the Slipknot fans. But that's my thing. Now, you notice that I missed one person, and the person that I missed was Diablo. And the reason why Diablo would not be so good into this scene is because two things. One, I know it's a PG-13 movie. So, he's too powerful to fight, to go up against or find Joker and his henchmen. They're all real people. So we got to keep it a little bit toned down. We're not going to have Diablo like literally set fire to a whole bunch of freaking Joker henchmen and kill them all. I don't think that's appropriate. We're going to keep this movie PG-13. Sorry for the people that think that this movie deserves to be an R, because technically it really, really doesn't. Okay? An R-rated Logan wasn't the reason why Logan is successful. The story is fantastic. Okay? That's why that movie Logan is successful. Not because it's rated R. Not because he drops fuck bombs everywhere and kills people by beheading them. Like 2 hours and a half of that is not a good movie. Okay, that's just the way it is. So, yes, Diablo, I believe, is too powerful to go up against Joker and his henchmen. They're all real people. They don't need that to overkill. Diablo was used, and you can see that as a plot device so he can fight that big-ass demon, that Enchantress, her brother, you know, and he's huge. He can grow big, and so blah, blah, blah. And that was why he was used. And you got to see that coming. It's very typical. So that's just the way it is. And so I'm sorry, Diablo. Maybe in Suicide Squad 2, I'll have a position for you. In the meantime, stay in prison, stay in that pipe, and don't hurt anyone or yourself in the process. Now that we got my Suicide Squad, I am going to tell you why it would be great for Enchantress to be a part of the group. Enchantress would her magical powers would be great. Her fighting abilities that she shows in the end of the film, I think, are very essential and useful. I just believe that she would, that entity, that magical entity, she would be the Diablo part. That magical entity of just her presence and using these magic powers to defeat hundreds of henchmen, you know, would be great. You know, it would look great on film. So there's no problem with that. You know, I would use everything about Enchantress other than the part where she has like this second kind of like, you know, thing where she starts like, you know, getting her brother, and then, you know, that the fact that she was the main villain from day one. And I get it, and I'm very happy that DC thought that bringing someone like Enchantress as a villain would be great. But the reason why that she's not is because she's brand new. People don't know who the fuck she is. So the best way to introduce her is this way. So we got to get comfortable with some of these people. I mean, you know, in the viewer's defense, they don't know what they're watching. They only know that Harley Quinn and Joker are in it, and most people only know who they are. Most people, believe it or not, even if it's Will Smith, don't know who Deadshot is. And that's fine, because I get that. You know, the same thing happens with Marvel. We're being introduced to so many characters. Not everybody that watches your movie are going to know who they are. They only know who the main people are. You know, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. You know, now Iron Man, now he's a tier 1. He used to be like a tier 2 or 3. But now he's a tier 1. Captain America. Everybody knows who these people are. You know, some of these people are, especially now in this generation. Everybody knows who the film version of the Avengers are. You know, and congratulations to, you know, Marvel for that. And thank you for letting everybody know that's not in the know. So that's fantastic. Joker is the villain, like I said. They need Task Force X to stop him. And basically, Joker, and this is where it's cool because Joker is mostly in Gotham City. Joker makes his way into Midway City, and because it's out of Batman's jurisdiction, if that's the way that you like to say it, I think that's pretty cool. That, you know, hence why there's no Batman here. Midway City is under attack. Bank robberies everywhere. Basically, like the way Flag says it on the helicopter, he says something like there's a terrorist attack, dirty bombs, you know, all kinds of shit, AK-47s and all that. You know, like that's what, basically what he said would have been the best fucking movie right there when it comes to Joker. Like that he's doing all these things, he's terrorizing the city, and they have to eliminate the process. That's basically what they're doing. And I believe that that would have been a much cooler fucking movie. It would have been much cooler to see Deadshot doing things. It would have been much cooler seeing Harley Quinn doing things and all that stuff, because this is where it's a really cool dynamic. Harley Quinn gets forced to be in Suicide Squad, right? And she's like, whatever. But when they tell her what the mission is to get Joker, you're going to tell me that doesn't send the whole film into this big subplot dramatic effect? Because now she has to go find and apprehend her pudding. You know, that's just the way it is. I think that makes a great film. So here we got, there goes your action, there goes your drama. Harley is in odds. Now she has to try to get her boyfriend, Joker, and apprehend him. And she doesn't want to. She's forced, because now with the explosive device in their necks, they have no choice. You know, so I think everything works in that way. Like, just think about the different kind of story that we would get. I think it just like sounds amazing. In my head it does anyway. You got the whole squad, and they're going through the city fighting all these henchmen, shooting them and fighting them, whatever. And we're getting to see all these kinds of different henchmen too. Like I said, like with the whole mask with the gold and the Batman mask, the eyeball guy and all that. And what I love is that it would be great action sequences, and you get to see those scenes where Deadshot and Harley Quinn are talking, and how she's upset that they have to get Joker. She doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to feel like she's backstabbing him, you know, and that all that stuff would work great. And all those scenes when they're talking to each other would work great too. Like Harley Quinn being upset, giving off attitude because she's doing something that she doesn't want to do, and everybody's telling you to calm down or to figure, you know, like whatever. Like all those conversations would like really work, if you ask me, you know. And Also, what would make it very cool is that when you get to the scenes where towards the end where Harley and Joker are at each other's throats, and she gets to have this bond with the Suicide Squad, with her new family per se, she gets to have to apprehend them. She would be the one to do it. Sort of like in the scene where she chooses to side with Enchantress, but then you know that it was a fake. They would have that same kind of a scene, but it would feel and look so much better when Harley Quinn would be doing that to Joker. I think that would be fantastic. Now, Harley Quinn would backstab Joker in the last second and knock him out or something, and they would catch him. And this is the part that makes it really fucking cool. Harley Quinn is like super guilty. They get all the things that they want, like they did in the movie, like the whole cappuccino machine, all that stuff. Now, what makes this part awesome is that she's doing her thing, whatever, and then all of a sudden there's this big, massive prison break, okay? There's this big, massive prison break, and everything's going crazy. Everybody's going nuts, and then all of a sudden, we find out that Joker got broken out, and he comes to get Harley. I think that's fucking great. You know what I mean? And then they kind of make up because that adds to the destructive relationship that they have. So they were together, right? Batman separates them like it happened in the film, right? Where she goes to prison, he's not in prison, and while she's in there, Task Force X Forces starts, whatever. She has to join it. Boom, surprise. You got to get Joker. That's a big jaw dropper for her and all this and that. Think about it. Just the conversations would be great. Even in my head, I'm thinking about it and how much of a better film it would have been. You know what I mean? So they can always still fix that. That's the best part about a shared universe. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot completely with the audience, but this works. Right here works. And I know that while you're listening, you're agreeing with me. You say, yo, that would be fucking cool. Getting after, them going after Joker, fighting all these henchmen, you know what I mean? And after that, they can just add that part. Like, just think about how amazing it would be when she's like talking to Joker and, the team is going to probably think that she's siding back with him, but then she doesn't. She like knocks Joker out or whatever, and he's unconscious and he's caught and he's going to prison. But then to be by his henchmen, they do this big prison break. And let's not forget the really awesome part of Joker coming in to get Harley and having like this, don't worry, honey, I forgive you kind of scene. And it's perfect. And that would have been a great ending to the film, I believe anyway. Now, just tell me what you guys think. I want to hear it. Comment, like, share. I'm very interested to know what you guys think. But I think I've talked way too much about Suicide Squad and how if I would have done it, for this segment today. But I would really, really like to know what you guys feel, because I think it would have been such an amazing film. I know we didn't get this one, but it doesn't. There's no how should I say? There's not a big deal to just have an imaginative mind and just think maybe how it would have been great in your brain and write it down. It's pretty fun when you write it down on a screenplay. Write a better thing. Trust me, I have so many. If I would have done it, that I've been writing for years. You know what I mean? Like, I've rewritten scripts. It's so much fun. And I encourage that other people do it too. You realize how much of an outlet it is, and you get so angry at things, believe it or not. So I hope that you guys have been enjoying these if I would have done it segments, because I know I have. I get to exercise my writing skills if I feel I have one, and I hope that you guys think that I'm not that shabby either. So this is Lumotional Lou. And you can follow me on Instagram.com/whatthehellpcast, Facebook.com/whatthehellpcast. You can follow me on Twitter.com/thehellpcast. You can go on SoundCloud, Podbean, Podbase, Stitcher Radio, anything, and just do a search. YouTube.com. What the hell did we just watch? And I'll be right there. And you can just pop it in and have a listen to any of the other segments that are going on. I play a weekly episodic show until It's over for Legion, so I'm enjoying myself with that. That's pretty fucking cool. Let's see what else. I think that's it. So, like I said, it's been a blast. This is Lumotional Lou. If I would have done it on What the Hell Did We Just Watch, and I just got one thing to say, it's been Lumotional.